Hello Mishpaka, welcome to this channel. If this is your first time, please be sure to give me a like, put in a comment, let me know that you're a real human being watching this video. We sure do appreciate you, and we appreciate all of the family in the Mishpaka. We appreciate everyone watching, liking, subscribing. Today we're looking at Revelation. These are the two olive trees and the two menorahs standing before Elohim of the earth. So, what is this verse all about? The book of Revelation is a vision. It's a vision of a heavenly temple scroll written in the sky above. It uses symbols and metaphors to communicate a deeper message. So when reading scripture, we need to think on a macro to micro scale. The heavenly temple above us compared to the earthly temple and tabernacle in the Torah and the scriptures compared to our physical tabernacle and temple, the body personally and the body of Messiah. Each person is an individual stone in the temple, and we all have a tabernacle, which is our human body. So we're comparing outer space to inner space throughout the scriptures. So in this verse here in Revelation 11:3, it says, "And I will give power unto my two witnesses, and they shall prophesy 1,260 days, clothed in sackcloth. These are the two olive trees and the two menorahs standing before the Elohim of the earth." So, taking this macro to micro scale, the earthly temple has a menorah and it has branches, and it's lit using oil from an olive tree, right? So we compare the heavenly temple as being lit by the stars, by the sun and the moon. In Revelation, it talks about the Messiah holds the stars in his hand. It's like a menorah, the seven wandering stars, the planets. It lights up the temple. And sackcloth is used biblically to communicate distress. So when we don't literalize this stuff, but we understand what's really trying to be said, we understand that sackcloth is kind of pointing us to sadness, to distress. And so how do we know that this verse is talking about the sun and the moon? Well, it tells us in chapter 6. It says, Revelation 6:12, "And I beheld when he had opened the seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood." So being covered in sackcloth, this is poetic language. This is to indicate darkness over the land. So it's metaphorical. It can be understood as more than just something about, an eclipse or a blood moon, but it communicates to us sadness in a time of mourning, a time of loss. So when the Son was crucified in between two witnesses as well, it says that darkness fell upon the land, Mark 15:33. It's a time of mourning, a time of sadness, right? When the wrath and the judgment is poured out, it's kind of like comparing it to summertime. So when things are getting hot, it's like we're under the pressure cooker. Psalm 2:12 says, "Kiss the sun," or in some versions, Septuagint, "accept correction before he becomes angry and you die where you stand. Indeed, his wrath can flare up or kindle quickly. How blessed are they who take refuge in him." We also see this in Psalm 89, talking about the sun and the moon being a witness. Verses 36 through 37, it says, "His seed shall endure forever, and his throne as the sun before me. It shall be established forever as the moon, and as a faithful witness." So we see again that the sun and moon are faithful witnesses. They are two faithful witnesses before the throne. So keep reading in Revelation. Before People, it says that they would give gifts and make merry and exchange presents because of these two prophets, right? So this is metaphorical, symbolic language. And so think of like Christmas and all these different things. And in Psalm 19, it says that the heavenly bodies speak unto us day unto day and night unto night, and they proclaim that there is a creator, right? They have no words where their voice is not heard. So everybody can see the witnesses. So oftentimes, the Son, S-U-N, can be analogous throughout Scripture for Elohim, or it can be, for his Son, the S-O-N, so because he inherits the throne, right? So the Son is like the glory. It's too bright to look at the sun. It's where the ark is. It's where the temple is. So you think of the sun being an ark. The ark is the commandments on our heart, on the inner space, the inner temple, tabernacle of our body. So it lights us up, right? And so we can think of the word emanating from this source. The sun produces light, produces life upon all earth. So the ancients communicated this way, living in an agrarian lifestyle, communicating with these metaphors and symbolic language to teach us deeper meaning. So we see throughout Scripture, Moses and Elijah were seen in the vision, right? There's two witnesses. Heaven and earth is my witness I call upon, Moshe said. Torah and the prophets are witnesses. The two angels at the tomb when the Messiah was resurrected, Zerubbabel and Yahusha, the two anointed ones, and Zechariah, the olive branch, right? So I did a video on that as well. Check that out. But it's all just this communication, this way of telling us deeper spiritual truths using the physical objects that we see in the sky above. And I thought it was interesting. I think most people are familiar with Zechariah 12:10, in whom they've pierced. Our physical sun actually has a spot as if it was pierced. So Yah has poured out his mercy. It says, I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and pleas for mercy, so that when they look on the one whom they pierced, they shall mourn for him as one mourns for an only child, and weep bitterly over him as one who weeps for the firstborn. And so the Messiah was crucified. It was a day of sadness. It was covered with sackcloth, blood moon, whatever. It's all to point us to a time of distress. But thank Yah, he raised him from the dead, and that sadness has turned into joy. And so that's the hope that we have, that we too shall be like the Son and be resurrected, given a new body, giving us hope. So hope this makes sense. Got another one coming out here in a minute. Sure love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Shalom.